Guys,
You're
welcome to Just Two Boys. Wait, well, we need to check the levels, right? You check the levels to make sure that we're on.
welcome to Just Two Boys.
Welcome to Just Two Boys. Wahlid, how are you, man? I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah,
You know what the funniest thing that happened this weekend was?
What? Tell me.
How funny was that shit? Remember that when we were walking back to the Welcome everybody to Just Two Boys. Sorry about the levels.
You would think the person who's adjusting the levels would make sure they're good.
Oh, okay, but you would also think that the person that has the visual representation of the levels in front of them in a computer program that also depicts whether the audio levels are peaking or not would adjust the levels.
Also, you would think that your co-host would be such a freaking asshole and would not be a dick all the time.
Okay, and you would also think that your co-host, this insensitive prick who can't take the helm of a responsibility onto himself and needs to deflect it and call other people an asshole or a dick just because he's not doing his job properly, then gets called out and is like, oh, it's not my fault, you're the dick. Wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I would think that actually.
I would
I'm
too.
very sorry, man. I didn't mean to start off in such a bad way.
Let's just check the levels next time.
Hey,
I check the levels, you check the levels.
I'll check it in the visual representation, and let's not fight
and
anymore.
if the levels aren't checked, then we check each other. Bitch.
Oh my god.
Do you think white people should be allowed to do brown accents? Trick question. Paradox.
Can brown people do white accents? Like a southern accent?
We're doing it right now. I'm literally doing a white accent right now.
No, but I'm saying like a southern accent.
Geez, goddamn.
This is tough, man.
This is tough because in the grand scope of things where nothing means anything and we're living in a computer reality and none of this makes any sense and nothing matters, nothing matters.
Right.
You can do whatever you want and there's no meaning to it. Whatever meaning you attach to it is your own. But when it comes to accents, there's years and years of cultural suppression and oppression and privilege and exploitation of one's culture. Yeah, brown people can do white accents.
Hey, speaking about culture, I've had the opportunity to live with Just for the last 2 months.
You've been living with me? What the fuck? Is that who's nibbling on all my cookies and chips and candies?
I got a sweet tooth.
I'm here thinking I got a rat. I got a mouse and you're... Why didn't you just tell me you're living with me? What the fuck? I would have got you bed sheets at least.
I've learned a lot about your guys' culture in the last 2 months, and I'm very.
Your guys' culture?
I mean, your community. I'm surprised I haven't disrespected your guys' culture.
Oh yeah.
Sooner than I.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I disrespected Afghans so much.
Excuse me?
Oh, I grew up with them. It's all right.
Oh, okay, then it's cool.
Here's what pisses me off more about a white person doing an Indian accent is a brown person doing a bad Indian accent.
Yo, here's the thing. I'm brown, but I can't do a brown accent.
And you don't, which is good. There's this huge discussion that's forming now. It's like, are even Indian people allowed to do the Indian accent that are born and raised here? And my answer to that is, why would I play a character that is based off of an Indian person that is from India and then give them a white accent? Am I not whitewashing that character? Why would I not let them stay true to their nature? Not that I'm making fun of it. I'm making fun of their character, or the character.
I feel like you still don't know the answer to this question. I feel like this is a battle within yourself. Does it bother you when people ask you to do it?
It bothers me if it's the intention in which they're asking. Everything's always about intention. I've always said this. And it's the intention in which they're asking. Funny story. One time. Popular, huge YouTuber.
Oh.
Not going to mention any names.
Hey, come on.
Can't say any names.
Come on, say it.
Big, massive YouTuber right now is killing it on the YouTube game, as well as their brother. So one of them calls me up one night, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, dude, what's up, man? Love your shit, blah, 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 blah. know you from Vine. I'm like, yo, I know you from Vine too, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have a little conversation. And he's like, yo, I have a project that I want to run by you. Just want to warm you up to it. Cool. I'm like, yeah. All
Remember
right.
when
He's
you texted me and I was like, yo.
yeah. No, did I talk to you first?
Yeah, you talked to me. You were like, yo, he hit me up.
Yo, I was like, yo, Wahlid, this guy hit me up. Like, he wants me to play a character in like his movie or something that he has coming up. And I'm like, yo, how hilarious is that? Because like neither of us ever thought we would like ever work with him or anything like that. I'm like,
it's we don't know the gender yet of this person. Oh, you said brother there. Damn it.
well, they have a brother.
Anyways, go on with the story.
So this genderless figure who is a social media content creator, very popular online with
go
a
back,
lot
go
of
back,
social
go back,
media
go back,
monologues.
go back.
And then you're like, yo, imagine if he wanted you to be like a cab driver.
Yo, 100%. I just imagine the way this guy was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is 100% what he was.
And
I
I
was
was like-
on vacation with my family, and I was dying at the fact.
And I was like, no, man, I have a little more faith than that. I'm pretty sure, like, because he told me everybody else that was going to be in that. And I'm like, I don't think he'll, like, make them be, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to play myself as, like, a cameo. Because, like, everybody else is playing themselves. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to play myself. I get hit back with a text. He says, hey, man, so I have this character. Me and a few other content creators land from the airport. And we get picked up by an Uber driver. You're playing the Uber driver. And then I was like, ha, in your face, Wahlid. See, I told you he would ask me to play a taxi cab driver.
He said Uber.
He said Uber. My faith paid out. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can play an Uber. We shot a skit where I played an Uber driver, and I never.
Well, have a good night.
Anyways, so I'm like, yo, man, guess what? He's like, what? I'm like, yo, he's asking me to play Uber driver. This guy's having a field day.
Yo, I was like, I'm God. I'm a psychic. I knew it.
He's cracking up. He goes, ha, 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 caps lock, monkey face cry emoji.
Remember in the end, I hit you with this, right?
He
Like,
knew
what
that.
kind of Uber driver?
Yeah. And he's like, yo, is he trying to get you to play like an Indian like cab driver and this and that? And I'm like, nah. Trust me, man. I got way more faith. It's just gonna be me. I'm one of their friends.
Yeah.
I'm just picking up
Some
them from
pals.
the airport, and I happen to play an Uber driver.
Right.
Didn't Kumail Nanjiani play an Uber driver in his movie?
Right.
It's harmless.
I mean, yeah, it's not that big. If
it's
that was
real
the
life.
case, that wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah, no, it's real life, man. There's brown people that are driving Uber. Every single Uber driver in Toronto is a dude.
Is an immigrant.
Is either an immigrant or like one of us in our 20s.
Or
that's like,
another dude who's just like, yeah, this is my real job. There's always one of those dudes.
oh yeah, this is just a side thing, you know. I'm going to school. I go to Waterloo. Waterloo, what are you doing out here? I'm like, okay, cool. So I hit him back with a message. I'm like, yeah, no, like, I mean, we could do that if you could send me the script. I just want to read over the script just to make sure, like, you know, I'm not doing an accent or anything like that, and you know, I don't want to come across as like a stereotypical, like the most stereotypical role for a guy with a turban is a fucking cab driver. Honestly, if it's not my own production, because I feel like myself and the guys that I work with, Babu Rupin, we know the cultural nuances within our community, and we know what's appropriate, we know what's not appropriate, and we know even when we play characters, when I play Bikram Sani, when I play my dad, when Babu plays an uncle, when Rupin plays an uncle, we know how to speak Punjabi, we know the language, we know the pulse of our community, we know what to do. So when we have the vision. A guy like this person whose name I almost said wouldn't understand that. Wouldn't understand the cultural nuances. Who's like a really white director?
Michael Bay?
It's like telling Michael Bay to make a black comedy. Like you wouldn't reach out
Hella
to
sick.
It's hilarious. So I'm like, yo, I just need the script just to make sure it's not like a stereotypical character. And then I get hit back with the text. And he's like, ooh, yo, I was kind of hoping you do that. I was like, yo. And then I literally screenshot that text and I sent it to you. And this guy had a fucking
Yo, at this
field
point, I was just like, I could do anything I want in this world. The whole world is mine.
I'm psychic. I have all of this power.
Yo, I was looking at my hands. I was looking at my mom and my sister. I was like, who am I?
Oh, man.
I wish you could say the name. Because you know how many freaking views we'll get? Think about the tabloids. TMZ. Dun, dun, dun.
You know what it is? It's just, once again, another case of pure ignorance. Like,
But you know what? It's like, I don't know. It's like tough to say, but is it like also not their fault because they just haven't been educated right?
Yeah, it's not their fault. And also, one of his arguments was like, "Yo, I just thought you would do it because like you do it in your vines." And then I was like, "Yo, I don't want to have to like educate you about Michael Bay making black comedies, right? I don't want to have to
Go that route.
go that route and sit you down and talk to you." But I mean,
I said after all that, after the screenshot, you should have done it. It would have been hilarious regardless.
yeah, that was one situation where I was asked to do the Indian accent, and I was not comfortable doing it just because I was not behind the vision of how that was going to get executed. And if I'm not behind the vision of how it's going to get executed, I don't know if I can trust the other person, especially if they're not from the same community and understand the pulse of the community, like myself and the people that I work with do. I don't know. I think it would be I think it would come across disrespectful, and I think it would come across as them just wanting to use that as a comic relief as opposed to like telling a story.
And I think you're just digging a deeper hole for your community too. So I feel like you're just pushing everything back.
Totally.
When right now everything's going forward.
Exactly. What about you, man? Do you have any?
I wish someone could ask me.
You've never had anybody come up to you?
No, because I can't do it. And they know I can't do it. Yo, did I tell you one time this manager called me and he was like, "Yeah, I really want to represent you. Like, I think you're really funny. And just one small change. Can you just not make the dildo vines?" And I like hung up on him. I was like, "How fucking dare you tell me not to create art?"
That's like telling Logan Paul not to dab.
I know. What kind of dab is that?
Is that how?
Close enough. And when you're younger, right?
Yeah.
Did people butcher your name a lot?
Like
substitute teachers and stuff?
Yeah. There's at one point where I was so embarrassed of my name that I just got everybody to call me Jazz. And I think every Jazz something, just something, has gone through this. They all have been a Jazz once in their lifetime. I have a cousin named Jasvinder, and he's been a Jazz. Jaspreets, I know they've all been Jazzes. Girls that have been Jazzes. I've had like substitutes are like
go off the roll sheet. Yeah. You know what's the funniest part? When you know it's your name, right? Yeah. You know they're looking at your name and they're pausing, and they go, "Yeah, I'm just gonna say Muhammad."
There was
they give up.
Anytime I had a substitute, so I had a lot of Afghans in my high school growing up. So my last name starts on the R. It's Reina, right? So I'm pretty below on the call list. So it's alphabetical, and every other Muslim person in my classroom, the substitute teacher, or even the teacher on the first or second day of school, would read the attendance list. And anytime they would come to like a Mukhtar or like a Abdullah or anything like that, they would not even finish reading the name and directly look at me, like Hashimi Mukhtar, and wait for me to say.
What would you do? Would you give some sort of reaction?
Yeah, it's not me. It's not me. And especially if the person wasn't even there or they're absent, like they would always look at me and just be like, "Did I pronounce that correctly?" I'm like, "Yo, that's not my name. Are you gonna say here or present or?" Oh, we're just gonna sit here and.
Oh, we're gonna play a little game, huh?
Oh, we're playing. Oh, so you're that kid.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be fun then. This is gonna be really fun.
What the fuck? Like you're not reading Thomas Sanders, and looking at every other white kid. Why do you? Anyways.
Yeah. Man. What about Starbucks?
Fuck a fine though. I don't go to Starbucks, man. Timmy's gang all day. Shit.
Okay. Well, when they ask for your coffee order, do like your name? Do you say your name?
I have never been to Starbucks in my life.
Shut up. We just went.
When?
We walked in together. This morning.
That was a Starbucks?
You fucking liar, let me tell you. There's this one time where I was with my mom, and they're like, "Yeah, name for the order." I don't know what happened, but I got so angry. I was like, "Doesn't even matter. You're just going to mess it up." Bro, he was staring just like... And then my mom just like giggling, like... I was like, yo, I'm sorry. It's like, Wahlid. And like, yo, and then he knew who I was from mine. It was just like the worst part. So just being a dick to like a random guy.
Okay. Also, big fan of your work, man. Love your vines.
Oh my god.
Like runs to the back room, starts crying. There's another coworker like,
it's okay.
Looks at you.
I felt bad. I felt really bad for snapping at that guy. I don't know what happened.
You know, in those situations, like Starbucks situation, if they ask for me, I don't even say my name. I just go, they're like, "Oh, so what's the name?" And I'm like, Jasmeet. Like, you don't even want to, you're just like.
You just give up.
You're like, I already know I'm going to be wasting time by saying my name, and then you're gonna be like, "How do you spell that?" So I'm like, let's just skip that process entirely.
Right, exactly. 100%.
And let me just go straight to telling you
100%.
how to
and
pronounce
Starbucks, out of all people, you know they're not gonna spell the name right. Then what's?
Yeah. Why am I wasting? Why would I waste time? I'm not gonna waste time.
Sorry. I don't mean
telling you my.
I don't mean to boycott.
It's little things like these that. You white folks with privilege, you'll never understand the trust.
I'm just so triggered.
Coffee cups. They can't spell our names, and I'm waste every time. So I just say, "Hey, what's your name?" Even on the phone, customer support. Sorry, sir. What's your name? Jasmeet. Last name Raina. There's like a flow. There's like a rhythm now. I know. I'm like, yep. First name Jas or J. Fucked it up.
Yeah, you didn't even know you were Flo. You're a hack. Anyway, guys, we have a very awesome guest. I'm excited.
Yo, I'm super excited for this guest.
I'm surprised he even did it. Shoot.
I'm so shocked he agreed to this.
I know.
Because like we don't even have, at this point right now, we don't have an episode out. So nobody knows about our podcast.
Oh yeah, nobody knows what this podcast is.
I mean, there's probably an episode out by the time you're watching this, but by the time while we're filming this, there's no episode out. Nobody knows nobody knows what we're doing. And he agreed.
And I wake up in the morning sometimes and I ask myself, do I know what I'm doing?
The government is lying to you.
Alex Jones is a distraction created by the government to distract you from the distractions created by the government.
The DAPS is a 3,000 Mason satanic ritual.
Christopher Columbus did actually discover India. We are actually all living in India. The government has a penis. Every one of Drake's songs played backwards is Orthodox Jewish Hebrew rock mixtape.
Hey, same time next week.
Hey, you back? Good workout today.
Hey, tell Cheryl I said hello.
You guys are coming over for dinner Sunday?
Yeah, we'll try.
See you there. All right, welcome back to Just Two Boys. Listen, guys, we said we were going to have a great guest. And honestly, Wahlid, I don't even know how we got him.
I don't know that many people in Toronto, and you paid for the Uber, so I came.
Listen, guys, we got Huddy in the building tonight.
Hello, Huddy's here.
He is. You're here for Just for Laughs.
Yeah, just for laughs in Toronto.
Yeah, you got a bunch of shows tonight.
I got one show tonight.
Not just tonight, but yesterday as well.
Yeah,
but
I had one show yesterday.
You're playing Queen Elizabeth Theater.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
I don't like it.
Why?
I don't. I know you guys are from Canada, but Queen Elizabeth represents the British monarchy.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah.
Disrespecting
Our queen.
my queen, are you?
Yeah.
Our queen.
Yeah, I am disrespecting. They're not. She's just on the money for some reason. Also, why is she on the money?
Did you just say for some reason?
Yes.
As if everything she's ever done in her whole life has not led to where we are today?
You mean like drinking tea and telling people to do stuff and sleeping?
You show her some goddamn respect.
You come into our house and you disrespect our mother.
Well, it's going to be called Mahatma Gandhi Theater tonight.
Oh, after he's done with it.
And you know what I mean by that.
Anyways, so you have a documentary coming out?
You have a documentary coming out.
So the release date just got out. Can you?
It's
is this gonna be your first plug?
I think so, actually. This is my first
shit.
look. This is it.
Yo!
This is it.
We are so sorry that we're your first plug.
Nah,
Yeah, man.
You could have so many better platforms and opportunities to plug this in.
Oh,
and
man, you know,
you got stuck with us.
you got to reach the first 6 or 7 people somehow. The Problem with Apu comes out on True TV on November 19th, and it's going to be available to stream on the internet as well.
That's awesome. You know, me and Wahlid talk about Apu all the time and
Yeah.
and the impact and his significance and really just the doors that he's opened up for people in our community. You know what I mean, Wahlid? Would
Yeah,
you like
not
to
just
add on
the
to that?
South Asian community, but I believe every brown community.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing to me that our first person that broke out into the entertainment industry is an animated show of one of the most popular, if not the most popular animated show of all time. That's still running. Isn't it still running?
Yeah, I believe so. I hope so.
And he's still on the show. He's probably the longest South Asian character or entity within the entertainment industry.
Would you say he's your role model?
It would be a goddamn shame if he was not on my top 3.
I just want to say,
Influences.
I just want to say how much I appreciate you white guys dressing up so realistically. Like, it is amazing. The face paint is right on. You went all in, man. You went all in.
My name's Jared. His name is Willis.
These are just characters.
The gig is up. Yeah, we're here to infiltrate and really study and make a documentary of our own. So the documentary, man. Why don't you tell? I know a bit about the documentary because you reached out to me a little while back and told.
It's a bummer that it didn't work out. Dates didn't work out, but we really wanted you in it.
Oh, I would never speak against Apu. I would never. No, it is. But I'm really excited to see it. And what is it about? Like, what's the beef with Apu? What's the issue?
I mean, he's the longest running South Asian character in North America, and I think it's like a weird way to represent our parents more than it represents us, right? Yeah. And the fact that it was done by a white guy is just kind of adds to it. And there's like a history, obviously, of like minstrelsy and like white people, playing like non-white people, something often like in a mocking way, like Peter Sellers in The Party. And this is just kind of like a continuance of that, except it gets grandfathered in because The Simpsons, it's the greatest show of all time.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite show.
Yeah.
And it's weird, like when something's your favorite show, yet when you used to watch it every Sunday, like, oh, that's what they're going to say to me in school the next day.
Yeah.
This is great. I have a head start.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I'm 5 steps ahead.
Pre 9/11 racism, keep in mind.
Was, my God. Oh, this is the privileged pre 9/11 racism.
This is the epitome of pre 9/11 racism.
Well, it's interesting. I think there is something to say about like the fact that like when you only have a limited number of images, right? After you have like 9/11 happen, it's like, all right, what do I know about brown people? There's Apu, and then there's Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna err on the side of Osama bin Laden and beat the shit out of all of them because we can't just assume they're like Apu in this situation.
I missed Apu so much after 9/11. I was like, I found it so
It's so much easier.
Talk about a convenience store, taxi cab. One more
time. Everything was so fun.
Just once. I want to take me back.
I want some of that vintage shit.
I mean, this is a topic that's like, I feel like only within our community we've talked about it, but nobody else outside of maybe the brown or South Asian community knows much about it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing originally started because I was on a TV show called Totally Biased with my friend W. Kamau Bell. I was a writer on the show and I was a correspondent on it. So I did a piece about Mindy Kaling having a new show.
Right.
And in the piece I talked about the history of representation of South Asians and I talked about Apu. And when I was writing the piece, I felt like it was corny. Like, why am I talking about Apu? Like, everyone talks about how corny it is to death. And Kamal's like, nobody talks about how corny Apu is.
Yeah.
Like, you and your community talk about it.
That's
nobody
it.
thinks about it.
That's
to
it.
me, I'm like, this is corny. This is stuff we talked about 20 years ago. Why are we still talking about
but
it?
to them it's like, they're like, oh, you have a problem with that? And
it's
like,
racist.
We
What
thought
do you
you
mean?
liked it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Why do you think this is racist? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I gotta explain this shit.
Yeah, when I kind of realized that, hey, maybe this isn't the best representation was like one of my white buddies were over and we'd watch The Simpsons together and Apu used to come on. I was like, why am I getting uncomfortable?
Oh shit.
Like if this is supposed to be,
Did he say anything?
like it never really hit me before maybe because I was younger. And I was like, oh, it's an Indian dude on Simpsons, so it never really like bothered me. But I remember the exact episode. It was like there was a talent show or something, and then it was like Apu's daughter, and she's playing tabla. And I grew up playing the tabla, so they had her playing a tabla, and like first of all, it didn't sound like a tabla at all. I was like, and then she was like saying something weird, and then everybody in the audience was falling asleep, and then like my friends were like laughing, and I was like, wait, is this? I don't think this is funny. Like I play the tabla, and like this doesn't sound like that, and when I play, I don't think it's boring. I don't want people to fall asleep when I'm bored. So I was like, then that like kind of opened up this like, oh shit, maybe this Apu character might be kind of racist.
Well, it's the show is brilliant, but it's also like white people, especially white dudes, view of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially if people of color, like they didn't have women or people of color in that writer's room when it started, not for a long time. So you have a bunch of white dudes, even if you had one, that person's outnumbered,
Right.
you have a bunch of white dudes viewing the world with their lens and thinking about what is going to make the most people laugh. And if you play like comedy just by the numbers, racism's going to work. It's corny,
but it's gonna work.
it's going to work.
Yeah,
It's going to work.
It's funny you said that because I just pictured like if there was like that one Indian dude in the writing room, he's like, actually, and everyone's just like, no, they're not. Come on,
shut up.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know your food tastes delicious. Like, it's spicy. It hurts.
I mean, think about like being in like high school and you have like a bunch of bullies like saying some racist shit to you and laughing. No, imagine if those people then got to project their racist imagery to like millions of people.
And it's winning Emmys, and it's like everyone loves it.
And it's a national treasure.
And it's a national, and it's like inspired everything today. Like so many things today.
Isn't there a Quickie Mart at Universal Studios?
Oh yes, I have been there, and they actually have like Apu clothing and stuff.
You should cop some.
Where's my free Apu merchandise? I've paid the price for Apu merchandise.
It'd just be funny if you walked in. They're like, "Dude, where the fuck were you? You're late, man."
Oh, that happened to me.
Yeah. Oh, that happened.
Did that
to
really?
That really
Tell
happened.
that story.
It was like a while back. This is like when I was like commuting like 3 hours to get to work, and I really had to use the bathroom. And so I stopped by. It was like somewhere in like Whittier or something. I pulled over, walked into the 7-Eleven, and this dude started taking off his like shirt and his like name tag. And I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Like I thought we were switching shifts."
That's
like,
hilarious.
Because it was like super early in the morning.
That's funny.
I mean, I can't blame him.
Do you know what that is? We're colonized up here. That's what's going on. You see what happens when you're colonized in your brain?
He's right. You're right, man. There's truth to that. Speaking of colonization, not at all a segue at all, but so you've gotten some critique that this documentary is too politically correct.
That doesn't mean anything.
What is that? Yeah. What do you say to that?
I mean, like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, what specific arguments that I'm making do you disagree with and why? One, the film hasn't come out yet. So you don't actually know what it's about.
Like, God damn it.
And secondly, so you can't hate it, honestly. And secondly, political correctness is just a blanket thing about anybody who has a point of view that like maybe a large group of people disagree with. But I'm like, I spent a lot of time coming up with ideas and arguments and research. If you're gonna call it politically correct, watch the whole thing and tell me why point by point. Otherwise, it's just like an easy way to dismiss something.
Or they're just mad that you're attacking The Simpsons.
Yeah, which I get. You know, no one has ever publicly went after The Simpsons, which is I get it because it's The Simpsons.
It's immortal. Yeah.
It's like it's sacrilegious. It feels sacrilegious to go after The Simpsons.
Totally, yeah.
But it's like, you know, it's my favorite show. It's not that I don't have an investment in it. Like I certainly grew up on that show, but at the same time, what, you can't criticize something you love? Like I don't understand how that works. You're supposed to, when you love something, you hold it to a higher standard.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel with The Simpsons. So, you know, I think it's interesting and I feel like it's smart, and I think that's what The Simpsons does. They do smart comedy.
I can't wait to see Simpsons characters come after him with pitchforks. What if the Simpsons reached out to you? Oh, dude.
Oh, man.
What would you like if they
To be in it?
They watch the documentary?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, okay, we get it now." Or anything. Like if they reach out to you just to be in it, would you be in The Simpsons?
Yeah.
You would do it?
If it's my voice.
Yeah.
If they don't dub somebody else.
Why don't you do Apu?
Of course. I mean, being in The Simpsons is like the biggest thing in the world. You know, I mean, that's like a huge honor. Very few people get mentioned on The Simpsons, get to be on The Simpsons, have their voice on The Simpsons. Like that would be like a dream.
All right, you're in the same room. You're reading your lines.
Yeah.
Hank is right beside you.
Yeah.
He reads Apu right in front of your face. What do you do?
You punch him?
I didn't think about all that. You're right. That's awkward.
Yeah,
man.
listen,
Yo, that's a sick mind game.
We asked the hard-hitting questions here on Just Two
I don't
Boys.
even know. Well, I mean, usually I don't.
Right,
think
and he looks at you as he's reading it,
And he winks in the end.
and then he asks like, "How did I deliver that?" And then he
I
laughs.
honestly don't know. I've never thought about the fact that like I would have to, because the thing is, when you see him do the voice, it's very like cringeworthy. You get all
Totally,
it's
yeah.
so, like,
Yeah.
It's like, is that white dude talking like that?
Yeah.
Does he think that's okay to talk about that in
Yeah,
public?
yeah.
And that's what he does all the time.
Yeah.
Except it's just audio and they put it into something. But like it's weird to see. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think I'd give him the stink eye for sure, but I'm not a violent person, so I don't think it would be.
Yo,
awful.
there's a clip of him giving it at the commencement speech.
At Tufts, yeah, man. That one was real weird.
Can you imagine like being in that crowd like as a South Asian, like you're graduating,
And everyone's looking at you. Hey, this is hilarious. Hey, he's talking about you.
I was in Boston last year, and I was doing a gig, and after the show, these students from Tufts came up to me, and they had just graduated, and they were really pissed about like the fact that Hank Azaria had done that during their graduation speech. It's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And so they decided they gave me like a what do you call those? Like a graduation pennant, like like a sash.
Yeah.
That that was specifically designed for me, and it was
Yeah.
their way of saying we consider you an official member of our class, and it was just like that's awesome. Like that's their way of responding to that.
You should give that sash to him. You should choke him.
I mean, look,
Everything comes first circle.
It's really, I mean, I get it. It's like you're an actor and you get work and you don't think, but I think at a certain point, it's like it's 2017 though. I mean, I get it. They never thought that we would be able to talk for ourselves.
Yeah, when was
You
this?
don't
When was the
imagine
first
that.
episode? When it was in 1972 when the first episode came out? Like
it's 89.
89?
Yeah.
89?
89 or 90, yeah.
Damn, dude.
They're like, nah, we won't be here. For this joke.
What on earth could they possibly do?
What are they gonna do? What? This show's not gonna go on this long.
Oh, that's the biggest part, I think. Nobody thought it was going to be on
Maybe,
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I follow you on Twitter,
Yeah.
and you're very politically engaged in the political shit show that's happening in your country. What the fuck is going on there?
I guess it's bad.
What do you think about? I want to get your thoughts on
Donald Trump, don't like him.
Nah.
Oh,
Oh my god, that's
Nah, man, nah. That rumor's out there. But
too easy. Yo, Jimmy Fallon, man. People like Jimmy Fallon, or even Hollywood kind of normalizing whatever is happening in Hollywood. And because I can tell you, as a Canadian and every other person that lives outside of America, we are all laughing at you guys.
oh, yeah.
You guys are the biggest entertainment joke.
Yeah.
And I'm like floored. I'm like, I cannot believe what is like every day. It's every day. So
It's like the Bush era again. I remember
Yeah.
when Bush was president, and that was like, oh, well, we hit rock bottom. Now we know what like path to never go down again.
Yeah.
And we topped ourselves.
You
we
did.
We are number one.
Yeah, you're missing-
at destroying ourselves.
You think Bush took a bet?
yeah. What do you think about Fallon? Anybody else kind of normalizing that? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's the problem with like.
Would you let? Ooh, if you were on Fallon, all right.
Yeah.
Would you let him do? Would you?
You're on
mess
Fallon,
with my hair? Nobody messes
and
with
and
my
and
hair.
Hank
That's not
and
happening.
Hank is also a guest that same night. Would you do it?
Fallon's doing an impression of Apu.
I mean, I would be shocked if no one said that was a bad idea. Like, okay, it seems like fun, guys. I don't know. It seems like a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I think they did it with Sean Spicer during what was it, the Emmys, and it's just like,
And that was
come
Stephen
on,
Colbert,
man.
and I love Stephen Colbert.
I love Stephen Colbert, and part of me is like, I don't know if it was his decision. Was it his final decision? Like, I don't know how that stuff works, but it was kind of like, let's not like. There's you have to mock him, and you have to mock people with power. But once he's out, don't bring him back.
Yeah.
Like, he's done.
But maybe was it because he was out and he was like, "Oh my God, this was what was I a part of? I want to help in any way." Do you think maybe that was running
if he
through
was
his
being
mind?
honest in that way? But he's not being honest in that way. He's not like.
So you think he was doing it for the glory?
Who doesn't want to be like who doesn't want to be liked? He was this pop cultural figure. Now he gets this platform where he's not controlled by the White House. Like, he wants to be in on the joke, and we let him be in on the joke, and that is ridiculous. Because at that point, he no longer had power. He no longer was in any position to cause any harm, and we just brought him right back.
I think if he did that and then came out with something himself, if he's legal, I don't know how that works. Like, if you're legally allowed to talk about, like, hey, like, if he actually is that person, like, yo, I fully regret this administration that I was a part of.
I mean, it would be shocking if he did, also considering that the
All the
administration's
things he
still in
said,
power and all the things he said. But I don't think that was. I mean, this is a dude that will say whatever. Like, that's that's his thing.
That's a really good way to put it. I was personally very, very confused when I saw that. I don't know.
I don't know how to feel. There was like a good, because I kept going back to the Jimmy Fallon and the hair thing. That's all I could like think back to.
Yeah,
it's amazing because at that time, like, Fallon was totally on top, and Colbert was in that weird place of they like didn't know what to do with the show.
Yeah.
Like, the show is really funny, but it's political in a way.
It's too smart. Some people are
Right.
saying as well. Yeah.
Then I feel like as soon as he Fallon messed with Trump's hair, it's like, oh, and we go back to Colbert.
Yeah.
It's like immediately, and then the election happened, and like Colbert is making essential stuff.
Yeah, totally.
He's making incredible. This is where he excels when there's trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Sean Spicer's just so cute, you know. It feels like put him in your pocket.
It's just cheeks,
you know.
I mean, it's just like, look, as a see, that's the thing when you do like with comedy or any kind of entertainment, like your bottom line is entertainment. That was entertaining.
Yeah.
But like morally, what is your obligation? And are you aware of what like is in front of you right now? This shit's scary, man. This
It
shit's
is.
really
You
scary.
tweet every single day
Yeah.
the same tweet.
Yeah,
But just change the day, the number. What is it? This is not.
I don't even remember, 251 or
Yeah,
something.
a reminder. This is not normal, and normal wasn't that great either. What do you mean
Yeah.
by that? Normal wasn't that great either.
It wasn't like the world, and especially like the U.S. government was doing good things. There were still drone strikes. Guantanamo still existed. The exploitation of the poor. Like we can't pretend that there was there were glory days of Obama. Like this system is set up for corruption. It's set up for banks to make money. It's set up for the working class to always be the working class, and for the middle class to be squeezed. Right?
Right.
It's built on that. So are we gonna say it was like great before Trump got here? No, But I mean, the difference is like I didn't think nuclear annihilation was so quick. I thought we had a few more years.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Yeah, right.
So that's the big difference. So it's not that it was great before. And I think the thing is, I worry that once Trump leaves, whether he gets replaced, whether he loses the next election, that we're gonna think everything's great. Let's celebrate. He's out, and no, we still have work to do.
Yeah.
We had work to do if Hillary Clinton won.
Even if
like-
Donald Trump gets impeached, Mike Pence is still the devil.
And he's a monster,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Also, he's creepy. You know what he calls his wife?
What?
Mother.
Oh, jeez.
Like the 50s. Like,
Oh,
hello, mother.
God.
Is that? I didn't even know that was a thing. Not even in the 50s.
They must sleep in separate beds. There's no way.
Oh, yeah, like in the same room but far away from each
Yeah,
other.
yeah. Good night, mother. Good night, father.
All the way across.
So weird. It's creepy.
Damn. Yeah, you guys have.
And his parents are liberals.
Mike Pence's.
Yeah.
They're probably just like, where did we?
It's like the most punk thing in the world, actually.
That's his way of
Fuck
rebelling.
you.
They're the most loving, most peaceful. Just want
Right,
prosperity for all. And he's like, no, fuck that, man.
Fuck poor people.
Great, man. Listen, I know you're tight on time, and once again, thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Dude, no,
and
it's
shooting
an
the shit
honor,
with
man.
us.
It's finally nice to meet you, for real.
Hey, totally, man. One more question before you go.
Yeah.
When can me and him? When can we join the Brown Illuminati?
Oh, yes.
Just trying to wonder how we can get in. We're almost there. I feel like.
I mean, those kind of decisions aren't made by me alone. They're made behind the scenes. I don't think I'm not a top-ranking figure.
Yeah, but you got some sort of influence.
You got
don't you?
like a say.
Yeah, but there's not.
Is it Aziz? Is
But
it Russell?
yeah,
Who's
who
the
you
guy?
got?
Aziz and Russell don't have time, but they pay their dues.
Who's running it? Hassan probably has
Well,
Mindy.
That can't be discussed. I will tell you that if they do see the fact that you discussed it, that puts you lower on the list.
God.
Ah,
Yeah.
shit.
Well,
Yeah.
make sure to edit this out. Chaps. Whoever's
I'll
editing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's in. Huddy, thanks so much for coming on,
Yo,
man. Shooting the
man,
shit
thanks
with
for
us.
having me, dude. I
Listen,
appreciate it, man.
We're really excited about the documentary. And where can people watch this? If you want to give it a quick.
November 19th, True TV. It's also going to be Sunday, November 19th, 10 p.m. And also it's going to be streaming on Hulu and all the other places you can like stream stuff. So you'll find it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
coming
man.
in
I
again.
appreciate that, man.
Oh my God, that is the most racist thing you've ever said.
I know.
Oh,
What can I
this
say?
guy, man, let me
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of Just Two Boys. This is the end card. I don't really know how to do end cards yet.
Yeah, we haven't really figured that out.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, I don't know, some shit.
What
like
do
that.
other YouTubers say?